Good day, everyone! I'm Federica Brenica, newscasting! This is Group 1, reporting the hottest news report. Global food security. Before we start our report, let me introduce to you the reporters of today. Hannah Abbas, Tristan Jade Antonio, Marian May Awayan, Crystal Faith Damaulao, Emmanuel Albento, Zea Iril Antonio, Shalome Copraros, Gilbert Africa, Ellen May De Leon, Grisha Alain Constantinopla, Frederic Abranica, Abigail Arroyo, Zyrock John Akyatan. To begin with this report, may I call on the first reporter, Miss Hannah Abbas. Han?
Hi, my name is Hannah K. Abbas. Today I will tackle global food security. Achieving our goals of ending hunger often means providing food for people in need. But we know that more is needed to ensure people enjoy food security. The question is, what do we mean by food security? Food security is when all people have regular access to enough nutritious food to lead healthy and active lives. The key word is access, which answering the question, how do you access food or how we access food? Maybe you can buy it or produce it yourself. In module, the Global Food Security Index are considered the core issue of affordability, availability, and quality across a set of 113 countries, in which index is the first security comprehensively across the three international established dimensions. For a better understanding, people need income or job to provide money to buy food. In short, better food security means improving a livelihood. For example, improving access to land, market, or supplies. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Abbas. Let's move on to the next reporter, Mr. Tristan Jade Antonio. Sir?
First of all, I would like to say good morning. I am Tristan Jade P. Antonio, and today I will be reporting the model of global food security. First, what is global food security? Ensured when there is reliable supply of food of sufficient quantity and quality. It is essential when there is permanent and durable access to the food, and ensured when individual and household have adequate resources to obtain appropriate food. But it is not just all about having a permanent supply of food, but also about having adequate resources to obtain the appropriate food. Model of global food security is also about having an ensured when food is nutritious and can be adequately metabolized and used by the body. That's all. Thank you. And once again, good morning.
Thank you, sir. Now, let me call on the third reporter, Miss Marian May Awayan. Miss?
Good day everyone, my name is Marian May Awayan, one of the members of Group 1. So for this lesson, I will be reporting factor influencing global food security. Food security defined as physical and economic access to sufficient food to meet the dietary requirements for a productive, healthy life. It also defined as inadequate physical, social, or economic access to food. It has also complex concept and goes beyond the simplistic idea of countries' inability to feed its population. So, in other words, food security is having consistent, reliable access to safe, nutritious food. Food security is determined by four components. First is availability. When we say availability, it means sufficient quantities of appropriate and quality food is available from domestic production, commercial imports, food assistance, or food reserves on a consistent basis. Second, access. People have adequate income or other resources to access appropriate food domestically through home production, buying in local markets, or as exchange, gifts, borrowing, or as food aid. Third component is utilization. People utilize food properly through food storing and processing practices will have sufficient knowledge where they apply nutritional, health, sanitation, socio-cultural as well spiritual parameters of food. Last component of food security is stability. Stability refers to availability of adequate food at all times, thus certain that access and utilization of appropriate food is not burdened by any hindrance, shortages, or by emergencies of circumstances. So when any one of these components are not met, it is considered as food security. That's all.
Thank you, Miss Awayan. Now, let's hear the voice of Miss Crystal Faith Damaulaw. Miss?
Hi, this is Crystal Faith Damaulaw. This time I'm going to report the challenges of global food security. The first one is the food price volatility. Food price volatility is a serious global concern. Since the food crisis of 2008, the world has struggled to address unexpected rapid rises and falls in global food prices, which have sparked political unrest and increased economic risks across the food system. Second one is the energy of biofuels. The effect of the demand for biofuels will be raised food prices, which will hurt the food security of many poor people in both rural and urban areas. The third one is the population growth. A growing population means more mouths to feed. The expanding global population is getting wealthier and richer people to tend to eat more and demand food that is resource intensive to produce. The fourth one is the demographic change. Demographic change can influence the underlying growth of the economy, structural productivity growth, living standards, savings, rates, consumption, and investment. The fifth one is the land-water constraints. It is shown, however, that with the current reservoir capacities and irrigation efficiencies, not enough water can be supplied to sustain and increase food production. The sixth one is the climate change. Climate change affects food production and availability, access, quality, utilization, and stability of food systems. Extreme weather-related disasters are increasing. They reduce the yields of major crops. Next one is the conflicts. Food itself frequently becomes a weapon during conflict. The destruction of rural infrastructure, the loss of livestock, deforestation, the widespread of landmines, as well as the population movements lead to long food security problems, particularly when these factors interact with natural disasters. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss. Now, let's move on and hear the voice of Mr. Emmanuel Albento and Miss Zea Iril Antonio. Sir?
Hello everyone, my name is Zea Iril Antonio. So for today, I'll be discussing the global food security issues, challenges, and technological solutions. Food security is both a complex and challenging issue to resolve as it cannot be characterized or limited by geography nor defined by a single grouping, demography, education, geographic location, or income. Food security faces a number of challenges across both production and consumption, which research will be essential to solve. Many countries are facing the double burden of hunger and undernutrition alongside overweight and obesity, with 1 in 3 people across the globe currently suffering from some form of malnutrition. Indeed, it is not unusual to find people with different forms of malnutrition living side by side in one country, in one community, or even in the same household. Food security is an important socio-economic indicator of quality of life. It shows the level of ability of people, households, and countries to access and use a very important human right.
Hello everyone, my name is Emmanuel C. Albento and I'm reporting about global food security issues, challenges, and technological solution. So the United Nations has set ending hunger, achieving food security and improved nutrition, and promoting sustainable agriculture as the second of its 17 Sustainable Development Goals or SDG for the year 2030. Also, we have these challenges to global food security. The first challenges is the food price volatility. It is happen when food supply increase, then price tend to go down, and when there is shortage, the price go up. Second challenges is the energy or biofuels. It happens when global declines in food production as more biomass has been generated. The third one is the land and water constraint. And the fourth is the population growth and demographic changes. So the last challenge is the climate change. Climate change such as flood can affect the food production or can lead to poor harvest. So these are the challenges to the global food security. Therefore, in conclusion, in our report, as the world is facing a crisis in global food security, the main challenges is that the population is in increase, meaning more mouth to feed or more people will endure hunger. That would be all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel Albento and Miss Zea Iril Antonio. Now, may I call Miss Sheila Copreros for her report. Miss?
Good day everyone, I am Sheila Maybico Peros, one of the reporter of Group 1, and my topic is Global Citizenship. What is global citizenship? It refers to the way of living which helps in nurturing the personal respect and also respect for others, in spite of wherever they may be living. It can be defined as recognizing the interconnections of life, respecting diversity and respecting human rights, and advocating social and global justice, providing empathy for suffering people around worldwide, and fulfilling the moral responsibility for Earth. This is generally related to the sense of nation as cohesive whole, and it is represented through different cultures, traditions, language, or politics. Global citizenship is the one who is aware about the wider world and also possess the sense of own role as the global all-world citizen. Global citizen achieved and acquire social identity which is shaped by the way how individual prefer and prioritize values and beliefs that includes self-enhancement and universalism. Some global citizens are motivated by universal beliefs such as welfare of human being and to protect the environment. Global citizens also have the ability and willingness to act to make our world a sustainable and equitable place. A global citizenship can be referred to as a people those who get identification as being a part of emerging world community. Global citizen perceives that world is made up of complex connection as well as interdependence. They are generally those people who understands the way world operates and they respect the value as well as diversity. The global citizenship should not replace national identity. If you are a global citizen, you must understand we were born of this world, protect our country, the world, when called upon to do so, stand up and defend against the injustice we see, understand the interconnectedness, respect, value diversity, and last, take actions in meaningful ways. That's all. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Miss. Let's hear the voice of Miss Ellen May De Leon. Miss?
Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask, what can you do for a country? That was a quote from John F. Kennedy. Good day, I'm Ellen May De Leon, and they assigned me to discuss the global obligation of global citizenship. The responsibility include responsibility to understand one's own perspective and perspective of other global issues. Most every global issues has multiple ethnic, social, political, and economic perspective attached to it. Next is responsibility to respect the principle of cultural diversity. The multiple perspective that exists one of most global issues often a reflection of different culture belief system. The third one is responsibility to make connection and build relationship with people from other countries and cultures. Global citizenship need to reach out and build relationship with people from other countries and culture. Responsibility to understand the way in which people and countries of the world are interconnected and interdependent. Global citizens have the responsibility to understand the many ways in which their lives are interconnected with people and countries in different parts of the world. Responsibility to advocate for greater international cooperation with other nations. Global citizens need to play active roles in urging greater international cooperation between nations and others. The last one is responsibility for advocating for more effective global equity and justice of each of the value domains of the world community. There are a growing number of cross-sector issues that require implementation of global standard of justice and equity. Thank you, and that's all.
Thank you, Miss. Now, let us call and witness the report of Miss Krisha Alain Constantinopla. Miss?
Good day, everyone. I am Krisha Alain Constantinopla. I am a part of Group 1 and I'm going to report what is global citizenship education as needed. With the interconnected and independent nature of our world, the global is not out there but it's a part of our lives as we link to the others in every continent. Socially and culturally through the media and through communication, telecommunication, and through travel and migration. Economically through trade, environmental through sharing one planet, politically through international relation and system of regulation. The opportunity our fast-changing globalized world offers young people are enormous. But so to our challenge, young people are entitled to an education that equips them with the knowledge, skills, and values. Values that they need it to embrace the opportunity and challenge they encountered, to create the kind of world that they wanted to live in as the education that supports the development as a global citizen. Moreover, it is the idea that one identity transcends geography or political borders, and that responsibilities or rights are divided from membership in broader class called humanity, and someone who feels like they are a part of the emerging world community and someone who works to contribute to society values and beliefs, which as citizens view the world as a whole value diversity and understand the global issue.
At this juncture, may I call on Mr. Frederick Abranica and Miss Abigail Arroyo for the summarization of Chapter 6, Lesson 2. Sir, Ma'am, good day everyone. Here's the brief summarization of the topic Sustainable World, Lesson 2. Model of Global Food Security, Factors Influencing Global Food Security. So, what comes into your mind when we hear global food security? Let us have a discussion about this. Achieving food security means ensuring everyone and every place on this world has adequate, safe, and nutrient-dense food, regardless of their location, their occupation, or income. According to the United Nations Committee on World Food Security, obtaining everyone's health in the short term and reaping the benefits of this is the priority. Model of Global Food Security. It is compare 113 countries' food security in terms of cost, availability, and quality, consisting of 34 unique indicators. The INCAX measures these food security drivers in both developing and developed nations. Food security is the first index to examine all three internationally recognized dimensions. The study also looked at underlying factors affecting food security, not just hunger. This year's GFSI includes a natural resource and resilience adjustment factor. This category evaluates a country's vulnerability to climate change, natural resources, and adaptation strategies. Factors influencing global food security. In order to live a productive, healthy life, one must have access to enough food. Aspects of food security are interrelated, according to the 1996 World Food Summit. The lack of physical, social, or economic access to food is considered food insecurity. Sustainable Development Goal 2 ensure food security and nutrition for all. Undernutrition impacts growth, disease development, survival, and economic productivity. Worldwide, food insecurity is caused by multiple factors such as population growth, climate change, rising food costs, that a country's population is unable to feed itself is not concept of food insecurity. Today's globalized world necessitates multilateral agreements and actions to effectively address many food security determinants. Global food security and hunger reduction are achievable if technological innovations are widely accepted and implemented.
Good day everyone. Now I will be discussing the global food security. Food security is a complex and difficult issue to handle because it cannot be defined or described by a geography or by a particular grouping such as demography, education, geographic location, or income. Currently, approximately 1 billion people, or the 16% of the global population, suffer from chronic hunger at a time when there is more than enough food to feed everyone on the planet. Therein lies the food security challenge of implementing a capability to deal with increasing food shortages caused by a combination of waste and an ever-expanding world population. So, what are the challenges to global food security? First, food price volatility. Second, the energy or the biofuels. Third, population growth and demographic changes. Fourth, land and water constraints. Fifth is the climate change. And lastly, the conflicts. Food security, on the other hand, has a number of issues in both production and consumption, which will necessitate further research. Many countries are grappling with the twin challenges of hunger and malnutrition, as well as overweight and obesity. With 1 out of every 3 people suffering from malnutrition, it is not uncommon to have persons suffering from several forms of malnutrition coexisting in the same country, community, or even family. More mouths to feed equals a bigger population. The world's population is growing wealthier, and wealthier people tend to consume more and want food that requires a lot of resource to produce, such as meat and dairy. Therefore, the United Nations has designated the second of its 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs, for 2030 as eradicating hunger, providing food security, and improving nutrition and supporting sustainable agriculture. They will need to address a variety of concerns from gender parity and aging populations to skills development and global warming in order to attain these goals.
Thank you, sir, ma'am. Now, for the last and not the least, may I call on Mr. Cyrak John Akyatan for the summarization of the Lesson 3, Chapter 6.
My name is Cyrak John Franco Akyatan and I'm one of the reporters of Group 1. For today's topic is global citizenship. Global citizenship is the idea that one's identity transcends geography or political borders and that responsibilities or rights are derived from membership in a broader class, or what we call humanity. In general usage, the term may have much the same meaning as world, citizen, or cosmopolitan, but it also has additional specialized meanings in different contexts. Global citizens are the glue which binds local communities together in an increasingly globalized world. To be effective global citizens, young people need to be flexible, creative, and proactive. They need to be able to solve problems and make decisions, think critically, communicate ideas effectively, and work well within teams and groups. These skills and attributes are increasingly recognized as being essential to succeed in other areas of 21st century life. Are you a global citizen? If you are, then you must protect our country, the world, when called upon to do so. Understand that we were born of this world. Stand up and defend against the injustice we see. Respect and value diversity. Take action in meaningful ways. Let's talk about the ethical obligations of global citizenship. The ethical obligations talks about the principles including respecting others, obeying rules and laws, and setting a good example to others. If you are aware of these ethical obligations, then you are also aware of the wider world. And you also have the understanding of how the world works economically, politically, socially, culturally, technologically, and most of all, environmentally. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for listening. Hope you have learned something new about the breaking news report. Again, this is Frederick Abranica, Newscasting. GROUP, GROUP, Group 1